Hi friends, this is Kelly from @KellyBellPlans, and I thought I would show you how I plan out my week in my Jibun Techo. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know I love a timed layout. I like being able to see where things are happening and make sure I am not double booked and all those fun things. So this is how the week starts out. What I need to plan this week is I'm going to need my monthly. So I've been using just this little 2-year planner, super easy to pop into your purse. This is kind of my master for my monthly. There is a monthly section up here, but mine is not up to date at the moment, so I do need to transfer some information, but that's why I need this. I'll need my work phone. I have a lot of meetings. They're going to go in here, so need that. The other things I'm going to use is a mild liner, some washi tape, just to kind of pretty it up. And then I do like to use a couple stickers sometimes, not always, but if we go back, I'm mostly washi, but you can see I do use stickers sometimes. So I have this pack that I got on clearance for 50 cents at Michael's. It's just the Craft Smart, which I think is a Michael's brand. And they have some nice smaller scale stickers, which is why I'm going to use it in this planner. And what I'm really digging is kind of the green and teal, and I am especially loving this Worry Less Plan More, so I want to use that one for sure. So that kind of inspired my color choices here. So here we go. I am going to actually, you know what, I think I'm going to pause and put you on fast forward, and then I will show you what I did at the end. Okay friends, so I'm going to start out with this washi tape, which I tend to put across the top, covering up some of those, hours of the day when I'm going to be asleep anyway. I don't use that for note taking or anything like that. So I just cover it with washi to give a little bit of color to these pages. So that's where the washi comes into play. And now I'm using that mild liner to just highlight my work business hours. So that kind of helps me just visually have that reference point during the day of what are my business hours and my commitments that may fall during those business hours. So sticker in the corner. Let's face it, I never use that space down there on the weekends to capture any notes. And I also don't use this little calendar grid up at the top. So that's going to get covered up. And then I do like to add a little like to-do type header there. So again, all of these are unnecessary elements, but they help me add a little bit of color. So I am checking my monthly calendar so I can add in some things here. Now I am using this Noted pen that I picked up at Target. It is, I think the Post-it brand is the one that has the Noted products. They have some stickies and some felt tip pens that have a fine tip. They're great for making lines in this tiny, tiny grid. I will say this one is kind of a medium gray, which I'm okay with. It's not quite bold enough for me. I would prefer a darker charcoal gray, which I do have somewhere in my stash. I just don't have it out right now, so I do need to find that. But for now, this one is working for me well enough. You'll also see this is where my work phone comes into play. So this is my work schedule that I'm putting down. So I'm just looking at the appointments on my calendar. It helps me to have this in this planner. I have a separate work planner to track to-dos. But it does help me to have this in this planner because then I'm at least aware of those meetings coming up before they happen. And every time I look at this layout, I'm reminded of the meetings that are coming and what prep work I may need to do for those meetings. So it's really just a fail-safe to make sure I'm not forgetting about a meeting that's going to happen, even though it's a work-specific meeting. So that's what I've got here. Okay, so here is what I came up with. And you can see mostly I am bracketing out my workday here. I'm going to add in my personal things. As the week gets closer, we are still kind of early right now, so I don't have everything quite calendared yet. But what I do is I tend to block out the top. Now this is the time to lay out starting here. I'm always asleep between 1 and midnight and 5 a.m. So I just use that to put some washi tape down. I am reading a book right now called The 5 a.m. Club, which is amazing. I don't know that I will be getting up at 5 a.m., but just in case I did leave that 5 a.m. slot open, typically I get up more like at 6. So we'll see how that goes. I do have options there. I put my sticker down here that I really liked, put another one up here. I don't really use that monthly grid up there. And then I put a header for my to-dos. I do tend to utilize these boxes, but if I'm using them, I do outline them. So I'm not worried about these kind of being covered. Now, what I like to do with my Mildliner is I use this to highlight my business working hours of the day. I do work from home permanently, and I don't necessarily restrict my work time to business hours. You know, sometimes I'll log in early, sometimes I'm working late, but these are the hours that I'm available for meetings. So as you can see, that's where my schedule really tends to fill up. So I bracketed in everything that is already assigned a time. What I did not include here is I do have some work blocks on my calendar where I'm not scheduled for meetings. So for instance, from 8 to 10 a.m. every Monday morning, I am blocked, and there is a weekly communication that I build during that time. I don't write that down here because that's not a standing meeting with someone else. That is a meeting with myself. So those I don't include here. And so you can see some pockets of time. That's my work time to actually get my work done. The rest of this is meeting time. I do actually schedule my lunch on my calendar, because if not, I will be booked through lunch for hours on end. So there are exceptions where sometimes I have to do a meeting over lunch, but I do try to keep that time kind of sacred, just to make sure I get up, walk out of my office for a few minutes during the day. Right now we only have one extracurricular in the evening for next week, so that's really nice. So for the most part, this is a work layout. Now, what I will add in as we go through is my wake up times, my running times. I tend to schedule that out because some of my runs go for an hour and more, especially my long run on the weekend will go pretty long. So that will get added through, and then things like evening activities or dinner. Ooh, we do have guitar. My daughter's guitar lesson, so I can add that in. That's every Monday. So yeah, this is kind of how I plan our time, so I can make sure we're not double booked and I can get everybody where they need to be. So that's my weekly layout. So pretty simple, not too much magical things happening here, mostly inspired by other layouts that I have seen, but I thought I would share today, and I would love for any suggestions, feedback, or questions. Have a good one, guys.